Hello and welcome to this primary election debate for Republican candidates for Congressional District 5, representing much of the East Valley, including Gilbert, Queen Creek, and parts of Chandler and Mesa. This debate is sponsored by Clean Elections, the state's nonpartisan voter education agency. My name is Danielle Lerner, and I will be moderating tonight's conversation, and our format will be a little different tonight. We're hosting a 30-minute one-on-one discussion since only one candidate, Daniel Keenan, has agreed to participate. Mark Lamb has declined our request to attend. And we are sharing this conversation as part of an effort to support democracy in Arizona through a partnership with the Citizens Clean Elections Commission, the Arizona Media Association, and Reister. It is a partnership designed to make candidate debates accessible to everyone in Arizona. And that means this conversation will air on a long list of local TV stations, radio stations, and digital platforms, including support from local newspapers. This is a shared effort between hundreds of local media brands across Arizona. And thank you to all the voters across our state who've submitted questions for this and other debates. We've reviewed all of them to make sure every voice is heard. However, no candidate has been given advanced access to any of those questions. Additionally, the candidate for this race in particular will take part in a speed round at the end of tonight's conversation. Those questions have been given to the candidate ahead of time, and he will have just 15 seconds to answer each one. And so with that, let's hear from our Republican primary candidate, Daniel Keenan. Welcome, Mr. Keenan. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having me.
To start, let's open with your opening statement. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Danielle. As you can see, there's one person on the debate stage tonight, and that is myself. Mark Lamb continues to hide in the basement like Sleepy Joe Biden because he's afraid to debate me. He's afraid to answer the tough questions regarding his recent disqualifying behavior. If Mark Lamb is going to abuse his power as sheriff, imagine how corrupt he will be in Washington. Mark Lamb cannot be trusted. Mark Lamb's an embarrassment on the Republican Party and only puts our Republican ticket at risk in the midterms. He's unfit for office and he can't be trusted. My name is Daniel Keenan. I was born and raised in the 5th District. It's where I married my wife, where we raised our children, and it's where I founded my business and created many jobs and opportunities for my fellow Arizonans. And I'm not going to Washington to make any friends. I'm going to Washington to fight for our families and the values that we all share, such as defending our Constitution, protecting our Second Amendment rights, protecting our children in our schools from woke indoctrination, fighting for lower taxes, and fighting for a small government so we can all prosper. I'm going to help President Trump lower the cost of prescription drugs, keep our border closed and deport illegal aliens, pass an election integrity bill, make home affordability a reality again for working class families, and bring down the cost of living. I'm a builder, I'm a businessman, I'm a father, and I'm a fighter, and I will bring that same work ethic to Washington. Thank you.
Now, you mentioned a lot of priorities there, so I want to just backtrack a bit. You talked about how you grew up in the 5th District. What are you seeing in that district? You know, why now have you decided to jump into politics in this way?
Well, specifically of why I jumped in, Andy Biggs, our congressman in that district, announced he was running for governor in late 2024. And I knew that the establishment was going to try to hand select who our next representative is going to be. I know that district better than anyone else in my race. The 5th District means everything to me, so I know I'm the right man for the job.
You mentioned Andy Biggs there. He's held this seat for quite some time. So for you, what will you do the same and what will you do differently than he has?
Well, I think Andy Biggs has done a great job defending our Constitution. I will certainly do that. He has defended our president, and I will certainly do that as well. I don't know about different, but what I want to do is bring down the cost of living. I want to make home affordability a reality again for working class families. And so I've been building homes my entire life. I'll be ready for day one on that fight and make that happen.
And cost of living, certainly a big issue for voters. In fact, a recent survey from the Citizens Clean Elections Commission shows that both Republicans and Democrats are most concerned with a candidate's position on inflation and rising costs. And so with that in mind, what specific steps can you take in Congress to bring some relief to CD5 residents?
Yeah, Danielle, so inflation is up. Prices are up, and I think we have to be honest about that. They're definitely not as high as they were during the Biden administration. But families are struggling right now. So that Sunday dinner may not look like it used to. And one of the biggest challenges they're having is finding a well-paying job. And the reason why they're not finding that job is because we have corporations who are giving millions and millions of jobs away to foreigners all over the world through the H-1B visa program. So every H-1B job that's given is a stolen opportunity from an American. It undercuts our wages, and it also puts a squeeze on the housing supply because, let's face it, those foreign workers have to live somewhere. But if we really want to get to the root cause of inflation, it's caused by deficit spending. And I think DOGE was a great idea. I think we can all agree that getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse is a good idea. And they uncovered hundreds of billions of dollars of wasteful spending that we can cut from our budget. But Congress has sat on their hands and have only codified about 9 to 10 billion of that into law. And so Vice President Vance right now is leading the charge on anti-fraud and wasteful spending, and I will absolutely join him in that. And I will be at every budget proposal, every budget huddle meeting, and fight to make sure we're getting rid of wasteful spending because, again, the root cause of inflation is deficit spending. And furthermore, I would say we need to continue to drill here at home and bring down energy prices. Gas prices are a little bit high right now. I trust our President Trump to bring down the cost of gas, but I'm going to help him bring them down even lower. So we need to explore all the untouched resources we have in this country that have been blocked by green regulation. So I will be the biggest champion in Washington of drill, baby, drill. So we're going to continue to prioritize giving jobs to Americans. We're going to grow the economy to outpace inflation, and we're going to prioritize drilling here at home in America, and all that will take care of inflation.
When you talk about resources, it brings to mind water here in Arizona. As someone who builds homes across the East Valley, you know, that area is truly exploding and growing right now. But all this is happening as our state faces kind of long-term water insecurity. And so is there a balance there between rapid development and ensuring that we're not putting more strain on an already strained system?
Well, you know, Danielle, we live in a desert, so water's pretty important here. And so I do think that it requires a federal solution. And the government is no stranger to this. As you know, the federal government helped build the Hoover Dam. So I believe that the federal government should be involved in these discussions and be a partner in making sure we get a deal done. Americans expect our leaders to come up with solutions. And so I will be a fighter and a leader on this issue. I will fight to make sure Arizona gets every last drop of water it deserves from the Colorado River. And I'm not afraid to look at many other options, whether that's building pipelines and bringing more water into areas that need it, or utilizing the resources we have here at home that we're surrounded by an ocean. That would mean bringing more desal plants online. In order to get those online, we need to remove regulations and remove investment hurdles. And so I will be the biggest champion and fighter to make sure Arizona gets the water it deserves so we can not only thrive, but we can continue to grow. And just to leave a last comment on that, you know, I hear Democrats always saying we need to bring in everyone from around the world, immigrants all over. But at the same time, we have a water crisis. So we need to start prioritizing Arizonans and American first.
Would you support potentially limiting development in certain areas where there isn't a guaranteed water supply?
Well, I don't think that's the problem. I think we need to continue to build homes in Arizona, and hopefully we'll get into a housing segment, but we have a shortage of homes where we need to continue to build. We just need to cut through regulations and make a good deal and make sure that we got the water we need, and I'll do that.
Well, let's talk about affordable housing then, because, you know, as you're building in the East Valley, as inflation and costs are rising, you know, I think a lot of folks feel priced out of the housing market right now. And so what steps can you take, will you take at that federal level to make home ownership more affordable and accessible for residents in CD5?
Yeah, so Danielle, I'm a home builder. I've been building homes my entire life. I know the industry inside and out, and nobody in Congress will be ready as me on day one to take on this fight. We have multiple issues that are affecting homes. We have shortage of homes, we have home affordability, and we have regulations. Now, on the shortage of homes, I would question that a little bit. Depending on the study, they say we have anywhere from 5 to 10 million shortage of homes in America. Now, I would question, do we really have a shortage of homes, or do we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here? Now, on the home affordability, back on that, recent studies by the LA Times and here in Phoenix showed that where mass deportations hit, rent prices are dropping. On the home affordability front, the big, beautiful bill that President Trump and our Congress and House passed strikes right at the heart of it. And it helps home builders like me allow for immediate expensing on the machinery that we use to build homes, the machinery that we use to bring in the materials to build homes, and it incentivizes buying American-made products. And I also support President Trump's, he's looking to ban institutional home buying, that where you have investors buying up swaths of communities and undercut Americans and pricing them out of the American dream. And on regulations, I posted a video about this not too long ago where I did a flashback. In the year 2000, our building permits in District 5 were $500 to a max of $1,000. This year, a permit pulled in my district was $46,000. That's for a piece of paper. That's not labor, that's not materials, that's a piece of paper to say, yeah, okay, now you can build your house. So it's regulations like this that are bleeding Americans dry. So we're going to continue to prioritize Americans again, getting those out of our country who are squeezing up the housing supply and causing the housing prices to increase. We're going to drive home President Trump's agenda that helps home building, and all of that will help the housing market.
Let's switch to immigration. You've mentioned foreign workers being here and some other things along those lines. So when it comes to the border, you have said that you wouldn't change anything and in fact might even look to go potentially further. Can you elaborate on that? And is there a specific federal policy that you would advocate for?
Yeah, so I hear the Democrats often criticizing President Trump, and they can criticize him all they want. The reality is he's fixing their problems. He's cleaning up their mess that they created, because for 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats sat on their hands while our borders were overran by millions and millions of people from all over the country, bringing in drugs that are ruining communities, trafficking women and children, and killing innocent Americans that we're still dealing with today. So yes, President Trump has done a great job securing our border and reducing the flow of illegals and fentanyl into our country. I support his mass deportations and will oppose any plan for amnesty. But I believe we need to go further. So that means putting an end to not just illegal immigration, but the many worker visa scams that take away American jobs and drive up the cost of housing. And this is personal to me because my daughter wants to become a doctor. But every year, thousands of qualified Americans are rejected from our residency programs in favor of foreigners on migrant visas. So my message to the viewers tonight is the days of our sons and daughters being pushed out of medical careers and American workers being forced to train their H-1B replacement is going to end, and I will fight to make that happen.
What do you say to those just on the other side who might be concerned about workforce shortages in certain industries like hospitality or agriculture or even construction? Yeah,
I mean, this is a lie that I always like to debunk, that I often get asked. Our Americans will do the tough jobs here in America. The issue is we have too many illegal aliens in here that will get hired under the table by employers and pay them a third of the wage of Americans. I see it every day. Americans will do those tough jobs, and I know that's the truth.
You mentioned fentanyl, you mentioned drugs coming over the border. What more can you do at the federal level? Is there certain policy, more restrictions to specifically curb that issue?
Well, I would just continue to support ICE, our Border Patrol, and all our law enforcement, because they are doing a great job. We have the most secure border we've ever had. I think there's only been maybe 1 or 2 crossings. It might even be 0. So I would just continue to support President Trump's immigration policies and support our great officers in ICE and Border Patrol and all law enforcement.
Something else that you've been pretty vocal about is prescription drug prices, particularly seniors who are paying quite a bit for their prescription medication. You've said you're going to, quote, stop Americans from getting scammed by our trade partners. How would you do that? And when do you think families or seniors, in CD5 would feel the results of your work in that area?
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. So I would ask the viewers tonight if they know that America makes up roughly 5 to 7% of the world's population, but yet we pay nearly 80% of the world's prescription drug costs. So do any of you know someone who depends on a prescription drug? The answer is probably yes, and I know I certainly do because my dad requires special medication. And so, President Trump has led the way. He's announced a plan to combat this, but yeah, we need to go further. So I plan on introducing a simple one-page bill that helps President Trump tell these drug companies that if you're going to sell a drug all over different places of the world for whatever price, and you can make a profit and operate as a business, then you need to honor that price to our Americans here and our seniors. I'm tired of seeing our seniors get ripped off. And so on day one, I will introduce that legislation. And it's, already helping President Trump is what he's doing. And I think it could happen pretty fast.
We also have a pretty significant veteran population as well in CD5. And so when you think about those who have served or are currently serving our country, what are your priorities to help those who may be struggling or those who might need help, whether it's battling rising costs or prescription drugs or access to treatment through the VA? What are your priorities in that regard?
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. Well, first, I would say if there's any veterans watching tonight or active military personnel, thank you so very much for your service and risking it all for us so we can enjoy the freedoms that we do here in America. I did not serve in the military, but I come from a military family. My grandfather served, my uncle served, my cousin served. So veterans hold a special place in my heart. So what I can do is I promise to hire 2 full-time staffers in my district office whose sole responsibility will be to take care of our veterans' needs in the district. But I think we can look at expanding the coverage for our veterans. I think President Trump has been a leader on this, but I trust our veterans. They know which healthcare provider works for them, what doctor works for them, and they shouldn't be restricted to just what the VA has to offer, because of course we know there's log jams, et cetera, that they continuously deal with. And furthermore, I would just say when I'm in Washington, D.C., I will always fight for our veterans, period.
And this position really is a balance between Washington, D.C. and serving constituents at home. And so when it comes to that constituent services portion of this job, how will you be sure that you're listening to every person in your district, even those who may not share some of your similar priorities or ideals?
That's a great question. I know that I would represent many people who don't agree with me politically and my views, but I still represent them. I want to do a great job for them. I want to keep our district free and prosperous so that they can thrive. And so I plan to hold monthly town halls where they can call and listen in, and even do in-person town halls that they will all be invited to so they can hold me accountable and make sure that I'm representing them well.
One more big issue, especially here in Arizona right now, is education. We have long ranked toward the bottom when it comes to education spending. Your thoughts on our state's current state of education and what, if any, the federal government's role would be in that? Yeah,
so I'm a father of 3 children, and me and my wife have put our kids through public school and private school. And really, Arizona right now is a leader in school choice. I believe that education should be held by the states. And I know that parents know what's best for their children. And so as long as there's federal dollars involved or state taxpayer dollars involved, parents, it should follow the child. Parents know what's best for their children, so they should be able to decide and have the freedom to choose where they're going to school, what they're being taught, and who is teaching them. So again, I think parents know what's best for their children, not a Washington, D.C. bureaucrat or some state lobby. And so when I'm in Washington, I will help to keep school choice intact here in Arizona and expand it across the country.
Yeah, kind of along those lines, but workforce development programs. As we look at building our future workforce, not just here in Arizona, but across the country, is there more room for resources or policies that can help support some of those pathways?
Well, absolutely. I think, if you do work in the construction industry like myself, you know that our core of great workers is aging. And so we do need young men to step up to the plate. And I think no one's a better champion than me. That's exactly the route I took. And I think we can look at developing more systems to train them. And, the Home Builders Association, they're already doing that to a capacity. But yeah, I would look at helping expand that for them so we can get our young men and women in the industry and train them properly and get them out there working.
Election security was actually another top priority for both Republicans and Democrats going into these primaries. And so you've said that you're advocating for common sense reform. And so what does that look like exactly, and how will you do that?
Well, this is where I have a disagreement with my opponent, Mark Lamb. Because when brave Arizonans were putting their lives on the line, facing prosecution and even jail time for fighting the Democrats' plan to steal the 2020 election, Mark Lamb told Congress he saw zero evidence of election fraud. He went on a Spanish-speaking television show and said our elections are safe and secure. And he also said that President Trump lost the election. While Andy Biggs, our great congressman, had the courage to vote against the certification of the results in 2020, it's clear by Mark Lamb's testimony he would have sided with the Democrats to certify those fraudulent results. And I think Kari Lake said it best in 2024, and I quote her words, Mark Lamb was a total coward on the 2020 election. So I won't be like Mark Lamb. I won't be a coward. There was fraud in our election. It was a rigged election. And I'll tell you why. We had tech oligarchs that were suppressing the news. If you remember the famous laptop from hell, they admitted to suppressing that weeks before the election that showed Joe Biden had corrupt foreign business dealings. We had other tech oligarchs like Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook investing billions of dollars into Democrat-heavy strongholds and not investing any into Republican areas. There was an organization, a nonprofit, Look Ahead America, that identified thousands of illegal ballots that were cast here in Arizona. DOJ uncovered that there was thousands of illegal aliens voting in our elections. And just here in Arizona, Recorder Heap uncovered that there was illegal aliens voting in our elections. The problem is we never got the true investigation that we needed because we had rhinos and turncoats like Mark Lamb going up to Washington testifying against our president, saying there was no fraud in the elections and that President Trump lost the election. So that's why I want to help President Trump pass an election integrity bill that ensures only citizens of our country are registering to vote. We have voter ID laws, and that all election results are tabulated on election night.
All right. Well, we are actually now going to shift into the speed round. That time went by pretty quick. Again, this candidate has been given these questions ahead of time, and you only have 15 seconds to answer each one. And so the first question, what is your most important issue on day one?
Would be passing an election integrity bill. And this is where my opponent can't be trusted. How can he fix a problem when he doesn't think it existed? I'm the only one that can take care of that, and we'll work on it on day one.
What is a win for this district that you believe only you can secure?
One win only I can secure is being an effective fighter for helping Andy Biggs retire Katie Hobbs. We badly need to win this governorship race, and Mark Lamb, with his recent disqualifying actions, only puts our governorship at risk of re-electing Katie Hobbs.
This next question kind of goes back to what we talked about with constituent services, but how will you balance the demanding schedule in Washington, D.C. with making sure you're present and accessible to the people in your district?
Well, that's very easy because I live in the district. I've lived here my entire life. Meanwhile, my opponent has moved his entire family out to Tennessee on his new multi-million-dollar ranch, so we know where he'll be on his days off. I'll be in the district every single day I'm off from Washington.
And then just as a final speed round question here, as someone who has grown up here, who has lived in CD5 your entire life, what do you love most about Arizona?
What I love most about Arizona is the opportunities it has given me and my family to succeed and prosper in life. And so that's why I'm going to fight harder than anyone to make sure my children and your children have the same opportunities we had when we were growing up.
All right, well, that concludes the speed round portion. And so now we will go to closing statements. And so you have 1 minute. You can probably take a little more than a minute for your closing statement.
Thank you, Danielle. So I often think back about the family from one of my very first homes that I built. The father was a veteran and the mother was a nurse. And like me, they had 3 kids. And despite being modest in income, they were wealthy in love and reminded me a lot of my family when I was growing up. So one of the things that motivates me to run is the fact that there's no way that family could afford to purchase that same house today. Instead of building equity on their pathway to the American dream, they'd be renting. And so let me make myself very clear. The stock market may hit new highs and Wall Street may be doing great. But that's not everything that matters to me. If the working families of this district and across America find home ownership unattainable, and if our seniors struggle to pay for their medicines while the rest of the world freeloads off their suffering, and if young college graduates can't find a job that allows them to start a family while corporate America achieves record profits by importing millions of foreign workers. So yes, President Trump has gotten our country moving in the right direction, and I'm asking for your vote so we can go further. My name is Daniel Keenan, Republican candidate for Congress. Thank you and God bless.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Keenan. We appreciate you being here. And that is all the time that we have for our one-on-one conversation with Daniel Keenan, Republican candidate for Congressional District 5. Just as a reminder, the Arizona primary election is on July 21st. Early voting starts June 24th. All registered voters can take part in the primary, and that does include independents. The voter registration deadline is June 26th, and if you would like to register to vote, you can do that by heading to azcleanelections.gov. You can also go to azmedia.org to see a list of every local media partner, plus upcoming debates and where you can find them on TV, radio, and also digital platforms. You can also see the entire full debates schedule. You can learn more about clean elections and also submit questions for future debates by heading to azcleanelections.gov. On behalf of our partners at Clean Elections, the Arizona Media Association, Reister, and Sneaky Big Studios, thanks for joining us.